Good morning, guys. So this is what we're working with today, last weekend, and I'm sure you figured out by the title of this video what it's about, and I'm so sorry that you have to see me like this. It's a little bit graphic, if you will. I went on a work trip. I got hit in the head by a piece of equipment right here where this little line is that you can see, and after the swelling went down and after everything, all of the injury blood that was building up here just sort of gravitated to my eye socket. So nothing about my eye is actually injured. This is not an abuse situation. If it was, I would get help, and I encourage others to do the same, but this is a work injury, and as such, I just have to hide it and hope that nobody asks me questions. I went to PetSmart this morning to get my dog's nails trimmed. Didn't cover it, kind of forgot about it, and I was getting some weird friggin' looks this morning. So anyway, I'm going to show you guys how to hide it. I took a lot of stage makeup classes in college. I know how to counter these colors, and I can maybe neutralize it. It's been a long time since I've done it, and this makeup that I'm going to use is very old, so let's give it a try. Also, all of this makeup is completely disgusting because it's like been used so much. Ben Nye stage makeup. So what we're gonna need is some yellow, some green. I just showed you the yellow, here's the green. I'm gonna need a little bit of green. This stuff is so gross. I do not recommend for anybody who wants to keep their skin's dignity, but it's good stage makeup. It's all oil-based, so it's really gross. Let's begin by talking about what colors we've got going on here. We've got a little bit of yellowing around the edges. To counter colors on your face, the reason that they say green counters red is because it's opposite on the color spectrum. So if you have a purple, you want to use a yellow. If you have a red, you want to use a green. If you have a yellow, you want to use a purple. You see what I'm saying here? So you want to find the opposite color of the color spectrum to your bruise color, and you want to apply that to your eye. If you can see, I've got some purple going on in there. I've got some yellow, I've got some green, and a little bit of red. The opposite of purple is yellow, and we are gonna start there with this nasty, nasty yellow. Last time I used this kit was probably 3-ish years ago, and none of these brushes have been cleaned since. Let's clean it. All right, so we got some yellow here. I'll just put that right, and we get a mirror so I can see what the heck I am doing. All right, so we're gonna just put some yellow on it. Here and here. Some more yellow on this. I would not recommend, if you do use Ben Nye or anything oil-based, do not use your good brushes. This stuff is oil-based and therefore very covering, but super duper gross. So don't recommend any of that. Okay, so now we've got our yellow covering any of the purpley blue areas, and we're gonna go back in with a little bit of green and top it all off with some red around the edges. Green here, I'm gonna put that on our brush. Get in where these red edges are here, and then after this we're just gonna do a lot of blending. And I don't know if you can see here, there's some yellowish going on there, so we're gonna go in with a little bit of red there. And here's the red, and we just need a little, not very much. So I'm just gonna put it here and here. Okay. Now you may think that I look insane right now. You're not wrong. But now we're gonna blend. I would not recommend using anything you care about. So I have a beauty blender. I'm not gonna blend with that because I don't want this corrosive, disgusting makeup on it. I'm gonna use one of my old blenders that is already disgusting, so here we go. See, you can see there it already starting to look a little better. Now this isn't going to completely neutralize everything you need, but you can see that now I have like a greenish tint around everything, and hopefully Like I said, I haven't done this in a long time, so my skills might not be quite as good as they used to be. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of green where it's dark again and just blot that in there, because I just want to make sure I get as much coverage as I can before I move on to concealer. Something I'm gonna do before I move on to concealer to sort of seal in this color balance that I've put in here. I'm gonna just powder it to lock in the color and make this just a little. All right. It looks, you know, not terrible. So let's hope that I can do this as well as I said I could do, because it's, like I said, been a long time since I've used or even opened the stage makeup. So here I have some finishing powder that I'm going to talk about in one of my next videos. I'm just going to get a little finishing powder on the brush and paint it in there. Make sure that, because especially when you're working on an eye, things are have a tendency to crease, especially when you're working with cakey, oily based makeup. So you really want to get that powder in there to seal in the oil and keep it from clumping. Sort of gonna lock it up. So I have colored and powdered at this point, and now we're going to move on to concealer. So here I have my NYX HD concealer in the color CW02 Fair, and this is a little light for me, but that actually helps with what we're doing here today. So we're just going to start under the eye and then bring it down like we would do normally. Like, this is my normal makeup routine. We're just going to do it a little thicker than we normally would. So I'm going to do the same on the other side that has no bruise. All right, and then we're going to cover the eyelid on the left side. Now, I've been covering this with just concealer over the last several days because honestly, color blending, getting out your stage makeup is a lot more work than I'm really willing to put in on a daily basis, and this covers it for the most part, but I'm really gonna try and do a full neutralization today. So I'll just put a little bit over here just so we don't look like we have one really white eye and one not white eye. And so now, since we sealed in that other oil-based color, I'm going to go back in with a beauty blender. So you can tell we didn't quite get full coverage there. There's still a hint of a bruise, but you gotta admit, from where we started, it's a huge improvement. And now I'm gonna go in with foundation, my normal everyday foundation BB cream, which is not a full coverage product, but will help us maybe help this color get aligned a little better, and it's just gonna go all over my face. And I just want to reiterate again, like, if you are getting a black eye from a bad situation, please remove yourself from that situation. No one deserves to be abused. Unfortunately, my injury was self-inflicted, and therefore I can blame no one but myself. I'm the one in this case who set the heavy object in a place that would fall on me, and well, I've learned my lesson that that's not an appropriate way to store heavy objects, because now I'm spending time covering a bruise when I could be living my life, doing things. But I will say that when I go out in public without covering it, like, the looks I get. The other day I went to pick up our flooring because we ordered flooring for our house, and we ordered it before I was injured, before I got the black eye. And the guy who sold it to us was like, "Oh, you still have your black eye." And I was like, okay, man, not only did I not have this when you saw me last, so thank you, but also, why would you say that? What is wrong with you? Anyway, it's fine. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and move forward with a full face, and I'm going to go ahead and powder the eye again, because now I've put even more makeup in this spot, and you can tell we still don't have 100% full coverage. But I'm gonna go back in with an eyeshadow palette, and we're gonna look good as new, my friend. Just take a little more of this powder, which I'm going to, ooh, which I'm gonna talk about in my next video because I got it from a subscription box and it's really dope. So we're just gonna go back in with a little more powder and powder it in. And powder. Sometimes I like to take some and just where I know it's gonna get extra bad, I just lay it in heavier with my finger. We're looking pretty good, I have to say. Now we're gonna just finish out our makeup routine, put some eyeshadow on, and call it a day. So that is how you hide a black eye. And I'll see you guys later. Please thumbs up and subscribe to this video if you loved it. If you have something to say about black eyes and you have a story to tell, please put that in the comments below. I'd love to hear about how other people did dumb things to themselves, or, you know, however it happened. Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.